Hello everybody, it's Paul with reporting live from my sofa. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm recording this Monday morning after a lovely little weekend. Most of you have probably seen by now, but if not, we'll talk about it. We are in a different spot. We are in the newly renovated sofa camper. The sofa is right over there, but I am in my new little desk area, and so we're going to try this spot out for a little bit so that I can get a little more serious about editing. And so we can also get a little bit more serious about Brendt Christensen. As you know, this is a federal case going on right now. Therefore, there's no cameras or anything like that allowed in the courtroom. He has been found guilty. There was never a question of this, including the defense. It was a known thing. But they are arguing that he does not deserve the death penalty. And I'm just going to be reviewing in this video last Friday's testimony, which was basically mostly focused on the mental health counselors and a few words from his ex-wife. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and review. So again, as you know, this is Brendt Christensen. He is in the penalty phase of his trial, and it's life without parole or death, pretty much. And we're going to talk about what happened Friday on the stand. So essentially, this was a little barrage of University of Illinois' mental health counselors that saw him. There are two of them whose testimony we're going to focus on mainly. Now, the counselor said that Christian had a fascination with serial killers and fantasized about killing, and that he had thoughts about how he could do it and was pretty far along in his plans to kill someone and get away with it. Christensen had also said that he purchased items to transport and dispose of a body, but he later disposed of those items. He never really used them. Now, Tom Meebach, I believe, I can't pronounce the last name, so we'll call him Tom. He was one of the four counselors who saw Christensen in the months leading up to the murder of Ying Zhang. And his job was basically to evaluate Christensen for self-harm and harm to others, things of this nature. He said that Christensen told him during a session in late March 2017 that he was okay because he came in willingly and scheduled a follow-up appointment to his return. Meebach said that Christensen, basically he didn't feel a need to kind of escalate this, is what it was. But he said that Christensen never showed up to his next appointment. So let's pause there for a minute. Now we're going to get into a little bit more from like other testimony from an expert witness about this and whatnot. Here's my thing. We all know in this day and age, we're all lawsuit friendly, yada, yada, yada. I know for a fact that there's certain things that if a counselor hears this stuff, it's like a trigger, of, we have to notify someone or whatever. I would think that bar is even more strict in a school setting as opposed to, say, a private practice. I could be wrong. I don't know. If somebody is rolling up into my office talking about, first of all, they said I fantasize about serial killers and stuff like that. I'd be like, well, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about a little bit maybe of a perverse fantasy here? Or are we talking about I want to be Charles Manson, you know what I'm saying? Or Jeffrey Dahmer or whatever. So, but then when they go further and talk about, I'm making plans to kill someone and I'm pretty far along with my plans and this and that. I don't care if they're like, I'm just joking. Those were jokes. I mean, that to me is like, okay, I want to dot my I and cross my T. I'm just sending this information over to blank, fill in the blank, whoever that is. So that's the part with this. I'm just like, how did this not happen? I mean, honestly. So let's continue. Now, Christensen also met with a counselor named Jennifer Maupin. She's a U of I drug and alcohol counselor. And she testified that she referred Christensen to a different treatment center, basically, there in Champaign. And she said they offered him like a one-stop shopping type situation, whatever that means, I guess. Essentially what it sounds like to me is he could see all the same counselors in one place. I don't know. Now, both of these counselors are the subjects of a federal civil lawsuit filed by the estate of Ying Zhang. And what the suit claims is basically negligence. It accuses the two counselors of acting with deliberate indifference and failing to address Christian's homicidal ideations. And in doing so, it says that the two counselors created a specific and identifiable threat to students. So, again, let's pause here for a second. I mean, I can completely see why. I mean, to me, I'm just like, what are safety measures for if not this? And again, I wasn't in that counseling room. I don't know the demeanor. I've never met Christensen. Maybe he's another Bundy that can kind of, smooth things over with people very easily. I mean, I don't know. But I just feel like there's some things that, you just don't, it's like if you're threatening to harm others, someone needs to be notified. And especially like the first guy, who it was like that was his job, was to assess risk of harm to self or others. And I'm like, so this guy is telling you that he's buying, body bags, he's far along with plans to kill someone, and this isn't, escalated to a serious thing. Okay. Okay, so that was a good treatment plan. I mean, it's a little shocking to me, but again, I don't know all the details. We're not there in the courtroom. We weren't there, so, but it just is very surprising to me. Time and time again, we see in these cases, with the DSS and these services and stuff, where the stuff falls through the cracks. And, when you're focused in on these situations, like these cases that we watch, and you see it doesn't seem to end. Now, let's go look at some more testimony that came from a Dr. Zolene, who essentially is an expert witness who testified. She called into question the counselor's handling of Christensen's case. And, she said that Christensen's thoughts of suicide and homicide and other factors would have led most clinicians to elevate his risk status to serious, although involuntary hospitalization would not have been required. Now, y'all, it takes a lot to get, I don't know if it's Baker Acted or whatever it's called in different places, but involuntarily hospitalized. I mean, it typically takes a lot. But I mean, like this person's saying, this should have elevated this to a serious status. And I mean, I don't know what the laws are. I mean, if anyone works in this industry, let me know. I would just think that you have to notify authorities or of some sort. I don't know. So let's continue. She noted that Christensen was referred for drug and alcohol evaluation, but the counselors did not recommend action on his homicidal and suicidal ideations. So, I don't know what's up with that. He went willingly to the counseling center, Zolene said. If more attentive services were provided, maybe this could have been prevented. I don't believe he received the help he needed and should have received. So there's that. Now, Christensen had been excused by the time this doctor took the stand because when he came back from lunch, he had a migraine, and he basically asked to be returned to the jail where he was being held. So he went home to take a little nap. Now, also on this day, the ex-wife, Michelle Zortman, took the stand. And, she testified during the guilt phase. And they said that basically the questions she was answering they seemed to be geared to, bring out Brent's, like, human, qualities or whatever. And now they also say that her appearance on the stand gave her an opportunity to counter the effect of a recording played in court of a jailhouse phone conversation that she had with Brent. And in this joke, she basically cracks an unkind joke about Tara Bullis, Christensen's girlfriend at the time. And she's the one who had secretly recorded all the information for the FBI. I don't know what that aspect is. It'll be interesting if we can find that out. So now remember, his dad got up there and testified. His mother and sister are apparently going to get up there. And the judge is saying that it looks like maybe sometime this week this is going to go to the jury. So this will be another interesting guilt phase because, again, there's no question if, not another guilt phase, but penalty phase. There's no question if he did it or not. It's just a matter of, does this man deserve death? And this can be tricky a lot of times, because, again, some of these things where they're just, I don't know if you follow me in the Scott Nelson case. I thought he was completely heinous. And, I mean, asked for the death penalty and stuff, and they didn't give it to him. But, why give him what he wants? So, again, my heart goes out to Ying Zhang, her family, her friends. It gives me goosebumps. My beard's standing on end. This just, each of these cases speak to us in a different way, I think. And this is another one where I'm like, this was such an amazing young person who had such a life ahead of her, such an amazing life. Already, what she accomplished at 25, I'm like, my God, if I could do that, I'd just be, if I could have just done what she did in her short little 25 years, I'd be happy. Such an amazing person. And her family was so proud of her. And how awful for her to come over here to America to study, and then this is what happens. I mean, what a horrible thing. I don't know if her parents ever visited America before this, but can you imagine your first time going to a country? I mean, how scary would that be? You don't speak the language, and you're going because this horrible monster wiped your daughter out and has continued to victimize the family. This is a mitigating factor, an aggravating factor, in my opinion, is the fact that I consider him to, I'm going to call it victimizing the family by not disclosing the body. And then the family having to hear this awful things that he said about her daughter, after the fact. It's just, I mean, why? What, my gosh, why? You already slaughtered her in the most heinous way. Why keep going, and why just focus all of this on the family? So, it'll be interesting to see, but just like we saw, like I said, with Scott Nelson, they came back life without parole. So, Tim Jones Jr., death penalty. So, we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to start rambling. So, that is it. We're going to come back with some more Brendt Christensen stuff. I hope you have a good day. I will talk to you soon. Don't forget to click the bell if you want to know when my videos come up. Check the description down below because there are lots of links down there. So many links. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.